Morning all, how are we? It is Monday, the 25th of August. It's Bank Holiday Monday. I don't normally do a live on a bank holiday. I normally take Bank Holiday Mondays off. I haven't been doing that this year. But I'm here today. Wags, I'm away this week. Holiday countdown. No, I'm happy not to be doing lives, but next Monday I'm not here. So I thought, do you know what? I'm not going to miss 2 Mondays in a row. So I've jumped on and I did a live this morning. How are we? Are you all enjoying the Bank Holiday weekend? I don't know what it's like where you are, but it is apparently going to be 28 degrees here in Lancashire. And the top will be off this afternoon. I shall be on my sun lounger in the garden. I haven't got a sun lounger in the garden. I've got a cheap 20 quid tech chair. But I will be on that. I will be on that this afternoon in the garden, topping my tan up. But yeah, I hope you're all having a great bank holiday weekend. They're nice, aren't they? They're just like me and Rach. And although I'm doing a little bit of work this morning, nothing major. I've just recorded my weekly weight loss vlog, so there is going to be a weekly weight loss vlog out today. I've been in here, done my weekly weight loss vlog, and now I'm doing this live just for 45 minutes, guys, this morning, and then I'm going to the gym. We're off to the gym, and then I'm going Christmas tree shopping. Yeah, I want a couple of Christmas trees. Not technically Christmas trees. I want a couple of trees that kind of look like miniature Christmas trees to go outside the house, the front of the house. So we're going driving around garden centres for an hour, having a little look, because I want to just evergreen trees, conifers sort of thing, maybe to go outside the house, just for a bit of, they look nice, don't they? But then I can put my Christmas lights in at Christmas, which is why I'm calling them Christmas trees. Anyway, there we go. So yeah, so you're all having a good weekend. That's my bank holiday weekend. After that, it'll be nothing. It'll be dog walking, chilling on the couch, watching some telly, and yeah, there we go. That'll be about it, really. Right, let's get down and see what is going on. Top 5. Let's do TikTok top 5. Lou's in at number 1. John is in at number 2. Nick is in at number 3. Pete's in at number 4 and Lisa's in at number 5. Good morning, guys. Thank you as always for straight live coming in saying hello. Tina's in, morning. Jane, Lynn, morning. Karen, good morning. Amy, morning. 2.5 days back at work and I'm off again. Love a bank holiday. Do you know what I was talking about routine before. Where have I talked about routine at recently? Might have been on live. I can't remember. No. Oh, it must have been about in my newsletter. I can't remember. Actually, I think I wrote it and I didn't put it in the newsletter. But yeah, I was saying about there's light at the end of the tunnel coming up, because a lot of people do struggle in the summer holidays. They find it a little bit, tricky. It's just lack of routine. Kids are off, and I think although there's no reason why anything should stop us losing weight, right? There's no kind of, what I mean by that is, your routine changes. Does that really stop us tracking calories because your kids are at home or not? No. Does it really stop us getting our steps in? Maybe. I suppose you've got young kids and it's hard work to track them out and this and that. But, calories are number 1, right? So even if your steps drop throughout some holidays, your calories, you stick to, anyone that's on plan with me or in my community, you stick to your calories, even if your steps drop to, I might base your calories off you doing 8,000 steps a day, 9,000 steps a day. If your steps drop to 3,000 steps a day in a week and you stick to the calories, you'll still lose weight, right? It won't take you out of a calorie deficit. The losses will be a little bit smaller. But it is just that, it's just a knock-on domino effect where, some of us struggle with the consistency of tracking calories anyway. And when there's distractions and lack of routine, we just kind of put 2 and 2 together, get 5, and just, it just ends up like that. And in all honesty, don't beat yourself up about it, because, you've got to try your best and navigate your way through it. But, in 6 weeks, most people can lose 6 pounds of body fat, right? If in the summer holidays you've lost 2, you've still made some progress. You've still tried your best and you've still sort of navigated your way through it. But next week, there's light at the end of the tunnel. It's already happened in Scotland. The kids are back at school. But next week, whether you're England or Scotland, don't know about Wales or Northern Ireland. I think that Wales might be a week later, actually. It might be the next week or the week or the beginning of the next. But anyway, for the majority of us, you're back to your routine next week. And that routine then is there until Christmas. I know there's a half term. Half terms are a week, maybe 8 or 9. Like maybe there's an extra couple of days. I know the odd time there can be a 2-week half term, but again, for the majority of people, half term's a week, and a week it's such a short period of time that it doesn't make a massive difference. Even if you have a week's, you might be like, right, I'm going to nail it for the first 7 weeks. 7 weeks. There's 7 weeks until half term, say, right? I'm going to absolutely nail it until then, and then half term we're going to have a maintenance week, right? Which just makes it, and then I'm going to nail it up until Christmas. So anyway, it's there's light at the end of the tunnel. And if you are on my one-to-one plan and you're struggling a little bit, the challenge starts. When does the challenge start? Is it 2 weeks today? 3 weeks today. Yeah, 3 weeks today. Is it 2 weeks today? 1, 2, 3 weeks today. 3 weeks today, the challenge, the Boss Your Weight Loss Challenge starts. And anyone that's joining that, you stick to your challenge, you'll get the results. All right? So there's light at the end of the tunnel, guys, if you have been struggling a little bit for that consistency. Casby, good morning. Devs is in, good morning. Gemma TikTok 89, hiya. Hello, Gemma TikTok 89. Remember, guys, this is a weight loss live. If you want to ask me any weight loss questions, anything you might be struggling with, please get the questions in. Emma Ray, morning. We are looking for the same for the front of ours. No lookers yet. Getting ready for a dog walk and then a combat class. Very nice, Emma. Yeah, I think it's the wrong time of year for evergreen plants. I think we've been to a couple of garden centres last week. I think there's still a lot of planters out. There's hanging baskets out. I think we're about a month early. I think the garden centres will change over. We did go to one garden centre in Lytham. Well, it doesn't live. They're all expensive anyway, because they're just like ripping people off that think they've got a lot of money. We went to a garden centre in Lytham, and we were like 2 trees, and I don't mind them being not established. I'm quite happy for them to be quite small and then grow over the years, sort of thing. 2 trees, perfect. Just what I wanted at the end of a few years grow. About 4.5, maybe 5 foot, nice planters. Add a look, £300 each. I am not prepared to spend 600 quid on 2 trees. Trees aren't cheap. I understand that. £100 my limit per tree. I'll spend 200 quid. They're not cheap, because I don't want anything this big that I've got to wait 10 years to grow into something that's 4 or 5 foot. I want them 5 foot at the end. Right, 5 foot is like where I kind of want them at the end. Yeah, a couple of 5 foot trees. So I'm kind of looking for something about 3 foot at the moment. Kelly C, good morning. Good morning. Amy Evans, good morning. Morning, last day of our little caravan holiday. Oh, lovely. Then back at it tomorrow. I hope you've had a lovely weekend, Paula. Pete's morning boss on a week off. Normally a struggle, but doing well since Thursday. Great day, Pete. You're doing very good at the moment, my man. Focus again, holiday focus. 3.5 hour drive today to the Cotswolds for a few days. Oh, look. Do you know what? I went to the Cotswolds as a kid. It is such. Is that when are you going to Diddley Squat, did you say, Anna? Or is that, have you already been there? No, Diddley Squat's Cotswolds, isn't it? It is a beautiful part of the world. It really, really is. Very, very nice. Have a great time, Anna. That's a drive, isn't it? 3.5 hours. Especially on a bank holiday Monday. You're brave. I don't know what time you're setting off. But anyway, good luck with that one. Hi, mate. Seen a lot about Retatrutide. What's your thoughts on that one? Is this another one, or is it like there's lots of different GLP-1s coming out, and they are going to develop over time? There is one that they're actually calling, this might be this one, a GLP-3. Which has got like a bit like Mounjaro could be possibly classed, I think, as a first of its class triple receptor. There you go. This will be the one. GLP-3 aims to deliver a revolutionary in obesity and TDM pharmaceuticals. The groundbreaking medication is shown to enhance therapeutic outcomes by delivering more pronounced reductions in body weight and HbA1c. So basically, like anything, it'll just be a more advanced version of a GLP-1. It's a diabetic medication, effects for weight loss. It'll just, main aim for weight loss is appetite suppression. I've been doing a bit of research this weekend. Actually, I was reading up on it yesterday. So a lot of people that are like, well, we're going to jump to Wegovy. Right, so a lot of people are going to jump to Wegovy to Mounjaro. Wegovy's not quite as effective as Mounjaro, whereas Mounjaro tackles appetite suppression and food noise. Wegovy isn't quite as effective at tackling the food noise. So it's any GLP-1 will slow down digestion. So it's good at tackling suppression. So the triple threat one, I can't remember the advantages of it, but it's just a GLP-1. It's just a GLP-1. And like I say, they're all going to advance going forward. Why are a lot of people jumping from Mounjaro to Wegovy is cost, but they'll just hike the price up of that. They'll see. They're not stupid. It's supply and demand. Is the price increase of Mounjaro going to massively affect the sales of Mounjaro? Honestly, I don't think it will. I think for the time being, the people that have been paying £100 a month, right? When it's like when mortgages went up, right? This is a classic example, right? Couple of years ago, 3 years ago, cost of living crisis happened. Mortgages, when I took my first mortgage out, it was 1.6%, right? Money's been really cheap for years and years and years in this country. 1.6%. The reality of that is crazy. To be able to borrow such a large amount of money for such a tiny amount of money for interest is crazy. When I renewed my mortgage for the first time, it went up to 2.3%. And then my mortgage went from X to X. And at the time, you're like, ooh, that's a bit of a pinch, isn't it? Right? Now, the market, after 10, 15 years of very cheap money from the financial crash of 2008, has just balanced itself. A mortgage should be 4%. When that first happened, everybody was like, how am I going to buy a house now at 4%? It's flatlined, right? It's been hovering now between, you might get, depending on how much money's in your house, you might get, or how big your mortgage is, your loan to rate value, you might get late 3s up to 5s. But now people have got used to it. House sales have not slowed down. House price, and at the time when it happened, house prices are going to crash. No one's going to be buying houses. Mortgage companies are going to go bust. Hasn't happened because people just start accepting that's the current price. If that's what I've got to pay, that's what I've got to pay. That'll be the same with Mounjaro in a couple of months' time. When all this noise breaks down, anyone's never bought it before, it's not used to buying a pen at £100 and now a pen's £200, they'll buy a pen for £200. Right? So it's not going to change anything. Now, the current people that are used to paying £100 a pen, that might jump to Wegovy. If the sales of Mounjaro are still up on a price increase, and Wegovy, they'll just put the price up of that as well, I would have thought, But I don't think it's going to affect things. But all these medications are gonna. So I wouldn't even start all these fancy names that come out, which is the technical names for them. It's just a GLP-1, right? Again, it might get rebranded as a GLP. Like I say, Mounjaro could have been called a GLP-2. This thing could be a GLP-3. At the end of the day, it's not available in this country yet. Right, so it's not even something that he's discussing. But there's going to be advances in all sorts, Like I say, the very first GLP-1s that came out, Saxenda was the first one in the UK, in 2022 was very, very popular, but it made people very, very sick, right? So they're just going to, I just call it a GLP-1, right? And it's just going to develop. They'll just develop. And again, when we're talking about it, and these developments actually in GLP-1s for weight loss, it doesn't make a massive amount of difference. The difference is the effects it's going to have on blood sugar. The type 2 diabetic medications, that's where the real benefit is how is it going to improve people's type 2 diabetes compared to using something like metformin, because I've got a few clients that are on Mounjaro through prescription because of their diabetes. They are overweight as well, and that's obviously a contributing factor. But the main reason they prescribed it is to help control their blood sugar levels, right? And they're getting great results on it, much better than they would when they were on metformin. So that's where the big advances are going to be, The first gift they ever sent, express your appreciation. Gemma TikTok 89. Thank you very much for sending the gift. I always say this, you never need to give me. They're always appreciated. Thank you very much. But yes, thank you. I just got that notification from TikTok. So thank you, Gemma, for sending me your, for gifting me, not your first gift, you've probably sent on TikTok, but first one to me. And James, everyone has a morning, mate. Oh, you're good. Jojo Mr. Zim, morning, mate. Let me scan up. First day of your plan today. Excited to make a change. I can't comment because I have no idea who you are. Oh, Rebecca. I was like that. Rebecca, I was going to ask you actually, do you prefer Becky or Bex? I always ask people, I don't mind calling people their Sunday name, and some people like it. I actually quite like using the Sunday name. I've got a mate, I've got a few friends, and I've got like my mate Mick. Everyone calls him Mick. Right, Mick. I always call him Michael. Don't know why. What up, Michael? I quite like using full names, me. I always go, all right, Rachel, why are you full naming me? I don't know. I just like using full names. I don't know. I think because everyone always uses my full name. Can't abbreviate, Neil. Right? You can't. So that was one of the reasons why my mum and dad called me. Anyway, there you go. I think what you're going to find now is that a lot of people are searching. I've had a lot of people ask me about that. I'm just going to call it a tide, right? They're always going, you got like semaglutides and whatever the thing is, right? I think why a lot of people are now, are there going to be a lot of people looking at the black market for these things? Of course there are. Absolutely there are. It's like any drug, right? And it is a drug, at the end of the day. Whether it's a legal drug, a prescription drug, or a Class A illegal drug, drug's a drug, and there's black markets for drugs, right? Whether they're prescription or non-prescription. So is it going to, price increases, will it enhance the black market? Yeah. Will it enhance the theft of these things? Yeah. Will you be able to? Yeah, of course it is. There's always going to be these knock-on effects. But are there going to be people, like, say, jumping ship? Oh, God, price increases. Let's look for the next option. And people are, well, this will be coming out. This will be coming out. Companies aren't stupid. They all know there's a ceiling window for the cost of something. They also know that people will pay for the best. And as in terms of weight loss, these weight loss drugs, as it were, or injectables, out of all that have come out, Mounjaro is the best. People will pay for the best. There's a reason why. And anyone goes, people aren't going to buy it anymore. Nonsense, right? There are people that still buy Fords and Vauxhalls. There are still people that buy Porsches, right? And loads of people buy Porsches. You see them everywhere. They're a luxury car. They're ridiculously expensive, but they still sell a hell of a lot of them because there are people out there that can pay for them, whether they pay for them up front or they can afford the monthly, but whatever. That's semantics, So it's just the way it is. But there's always going to be people looking for different things, I'm on 15. It's going up to 300. Yeah, but Carl, you don't need to be on it anymore. You need to. This is a sign for you, Carl, to say, right, that's it. Now I know you said you wouldn't run it for life. There's no point. It'll stop working anyway. So there's no. What's the point of spending £330 a month on something that's going to be pretty much ineffective? Wean yourself off it. Have faith in yourself, right? And this is actually a big advantage. I think some big advantages to these price rises. It will stop the abuse. People are abusing it. They don't need to be on it anymore. Use it as it's like having an infection, right? When you have an infection, you get prescribed antibiotics. Once those antibiotics do their job and you've sorted out your infection, right? Then the doctor doesn't keep you on prescription antibiotics for the next 12 months. I don't have an infection anymore, so I don't need to buy antibiotics. Now, if you're doing something that is causing a regular infection, then you need to work on what is causing your regular infection. So you need to when we're on these weight loss injections, we need to be working on things that we shouldn't need them anymore. Your mindset should never be to be on a medication for the rest of your life. It never should be, right? Even if that's the only option, but it isn't with these drugs. It isn't. You've got to, and this is a sign. You've got to, I'm working with so many clients now that have literally gone, do you know what? It is a sign, right? Let's work at getting off it. Right. And that's I've probably got 4 or 5 in the last couple of weeks. And again, it is through the price increases, but they're like, do you know what? I'm confident in myself. I've got a couple of clients that have hit goal, and they're like, right, let's wean off it. Let's get off it. And you do need to wean off it. Why should you never go cold turkey with MJ? Like, bang, stop, right? And it's not that it's a medical risk. There's no major withdrawal symptoms to it. The data says what can happen if you go totally cold turkey on it is it can really ramp up. Like, let's say your appetite was here, right? And you're taking Manjaro, so it's now here. If you go cold turkey on it, it can take your appetite to here, which is like any crash diet. When we over restrict ourselves, we can have this bounce back where we don't go back to where we were. We can go worse, right? And that's the same with it. It's like eating a lot of people go on a diet where they should be eating 2,000 calories a day. They're eating 1,000 calories a day. They manage to do that for a couple of months, but they're so overly restricted with eating 1,000 calories a day that when they suddenly hit their brick wall and bang, next thing they're eating 3,000 calories a day. So they're going from one extreme to another. And going cold turkey on it is what you'll do. You'll go from one extreme to another. So you're better off just bringing yourself. So it's like a pyramid. You've got 2.5, 5, 5.5, 2.5, 5, 7.5, 10, 12.5, 15, which is top whack. And once you've been on 15 for a few months, in terms of appetite suppression and that, it's going to be very limited anyway, the effects you're going to get. So then you might as well bring yourself down 12.5, 10. And yeah, it's going to be less and less and less. But we can create a placebo with things. So when we are on a certain amount, I've seen it with a lot of clients where why do some people still get suppression on 5 milligrams for 3 months, and some people get suppression on 5 milligrams for a month, and then they feel like they've got to move up? A lot of it's in here. A lot of it is in here. Now, don't get me wrong, everyone's body is different. How we build up intolerances to different meds and stuff like that, of course it's different. But it would be naive of us to say a lot of it's not in here. Of course it is. That's where a lot of our control comes from. Someone that's eating, that's doing 5 milligrams a day and still having decent suppression off it, they've probably got a pretty decent, or they're working on having their own level of control. I've got a client at the moment, they've been on 5 milligram now for 4 months, and they've been umming and ahhing about going up to 7.5 and getting some pens before the price increase kicks in. And I'm literally like, yeah, look, I get you saying, but you're forcing yourself to have something that you don't need. Because what this client has done, when they first went on to MJ, they were just doing nothing. Their consistency was nothing. They were very inconsistent with tracking calories. They weren't trying to improve their overall diet. While they've been on 5 milligram, they're eating lots of protein now, over 100 grams a day. They're working on more fruits, veggies, improving their overall diet. They're also moving more on a day-to-day basis. They're improving their own mental health. All these things are having a massive natural effect of controlling appetite, which is why the 5 milligram is still effective for them. But it's different strokes for different folks. Of course it is, Right, that's it. We've talked about it enough. I know a lot of people get bored of it because a lot of people aren't on it. So let's move on. Thinking of joining a gym this month. Was 5 stone and try and maintain. Just got to get the yeah. It is hard. It's like anything. We always have a fear of the unknown, Andy. And gyms are no different to anything else. I always think it's a bit like joining your first. It's like your first day at school. So it's just a fear of the unknown. Now, what I would say about joining the gym is, and we do talk about this all the time, you've got to get over your fear, your gym phobia, as it were. And a lot of people have a gym phobia. There's a couple of different reasons. A big reason is we just assume that everyone in a gym is fit and healthy and in really good shape. And when we walk in, we're going to stand out like a sore thumb. There are more people in gyms with not the best physiques, as we might put, than with amazing physiques. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to go to the gym after this live. It'll be packed this morning. I think it will. The gym's been really quiet actually the last week or two. It always goes quieter in summer holidays. But Bank Holiday Monday, a lot of people are like, there's a lot of guilt gymming on a Bank Holiday Monday. A lot of people try to sweat out maybe a few glasses of Prosecco and stuff like that. But I'll go in that gym today, and I'm not critiquing physiques, by the way, when I say this, because my physique will be in there with my loose skin jiggling about everywhere, right? But there will be what people would class as the perfect physique. There'll be a lot of people. There'll be people in there that've got great physiques, but there'll be more people in there with lumps and bumps than not. Right? There will. That's gyms. Yeah, that's the way it. That's the reality of it. And what you have to remember is every single person in the gym walked through the door for the first time in that one gym at some point in time. But if you've got a gym phobia, do some research, pick the right gym. I think that's always a good help. We have to accept there are certain gyms for a certain type of people, there are certain gyms for other types of people. I go to Ribby Hall Village, and Ribby Hall Village is a health club, right? Think of I don't know if you've seen a David Lloyd, it's kind of down those lines, right? It's not cheap, but it's a very nice gym. It's got a pool, it's got a sauna, hot tub, steam rooms afterwards, and it's lovely. But because it's not cheap, the clientele is older, right? Now, do you get kids in there? Of course you do, because you've got kids that in the area just love the facilities. But I would say the average age is probably mid to late 30s. Whereas if you go to something like a JD gym, which JD Sports, it's quite cool, it's quite trendy. Will you get 70-year-old people going to a JD? Of course you will. Will you get 18-year-olds going? Just like we get 18-year-olds, 16-year-olds coming to Ribby? Of course. But the average age range of a JD gym is probably 26. It's quite a bit younger. It's also, JD gyms are funky, they're cool, whereas Ribby Hall tries to be a bit more refined, a bit more because they're aiming at a certain target audience. So choose the right gym, for you. Go around a couple of gyms, have a couple of tours, ask for a couple of day passes, try them out. Which ones do you feel comfortable in? Obviously price comes down is a price point, but a JD gym, 30 quid a month, I think, something like that. If you're off peak, maybe 25, whereas Ribby's 70. So it's a bit different. David Lloyd's 100, maybe a bit more than that now. So find the right gym for you. You can also then look at gym times. There's always going to be quiet times. There's always going to be busy times. That's changed a lot since COVID, because now, when I was a PT, the gym, Ribby was packed 6:30 till 8 o'clock, rammed, right? Then it'd go dead for an hour, right? Then it'd go absolutely dead for an hour, right? Because it was packed 6:30 till 8 because a lot of people went to work at 9. So they'd finish, 8 was sort of the latest, go get a shower, get changed, commute to work, and that was sort of the time. 8 till 9, empty. Ribby does a free creche. So if you've got kids from 6 or 12 months to 5 before they start school, you can leave your kids. If you're a member at Ribby, you get 2 hours childcare included. So a lot of parents, you don't have to be single parents, a lot of mums and dads, they'll drop the kids off at 9, go on train, grab a coffee, have a natter, pick the kids up at 11, and it's all included in the membership, right? Now, there are limited spaces for that, but it's a great service, right? So 9 till 10:30, rammed again. This was like pre-COVID. Then it'd be empty. 11 till 3, absolutely empty. Now, Ribby Hall, one of their big memberships, corporate memberships, is British Aerospace, which is just down the road. And British Aerospace work on flexi time. So then from like 3 o'clock onwards, it starts to ramp up. And then 5:30, every gym in the country should be packed at 5:30 to 6. If it isn't, it'll go bust. Now with Ribby, it's a lot, but it's just busy, kind of not all day. There are peaks and troughs, but like we sometimes go, or we used to, I go quite a bit about 11 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes it's rammed, sometimes it's quiet. Whereas 11 o'clock, 6, it'd always be quiet. Anyway, find the right times to go. So there's lots of things you can do. And then at the end of the day, sometimes it's just about putting our big boy pants on and walking through the door. And as soon as you do that and you realise a lot of your gym phobia fears they'll just go. Do you know what I mean? They'll just go. Yes, boss, think I just joined the gym instead of getting a PT. Yeah, and you can do. And look, at the end of the day, I would always recommend, if you're really lost in the gym, it is worth getting a PT. But there is lots of videos on YouTube. There's lots of like apps and stuff like that. Helen, I remember Helen asking me, I need to still look into that. It's not something I look at much. There's lots of apps out there with different workouts on and stuff like that that can help you in the gym. PTs are great if you're not very self-motivated. If you're not very self-motivated, PTs are great. But yeah, I would recommend, if you've not even got a gym membership, I wouldn't get a PT. I'd get a gym membership, go, see how you get on. If you start struggling, then maybe look at getting a PT. Or if you are self-motivated, you go for 12 months, but you feel like you've hit a plateau and you don't feel like you can develop yourself anymore, then maybe get a PT. Gemma, come on, here's my TikTok being dodgy. Feeling really positive and ready to start my plan today. Looking forward to the future. Brilliant, Gemma. It's just, I think, Gemma's come on board with me. She's lost a large amount of weight in the past, but she's done it through crash dieting. Crash dieting leads to the weight gain coming back on and more. So we need to cut that out. We're going to have to work on Gemma's mentality quite a lot. But Gemma, just getting involved in mentality is not, it's a thing that changes over time, right? I still struggle with certain mentalities around weight loss. I do. I've got to admit that, and I'm 11 years in. But is my mentality around weight loss in 2025 a million times better than 2014? 100%. My mentality around weight loss was better in 15 to 14. It was better in 16 to 15. It was better in 17 to 16. It'll just keep improving. Will my mentality around weight loss be better next year than it was this year? Absolutely. Will the difference be huge? No. The difference from 2014 to 2015 was huge. The difference from 2015 to 2025, those 10 years, ridiculous. Will the difference be as big from 2025 to 2030? No, right? But I'm still learning as I go along. But we'll get there, Gemma. We will get there. Gemma's lost a lot of weight in the past, which means she's got a strong mentality to stick to something, right? And she's had a strong mentality to stick to something that isn't sustainable, right? And Gemma lost 10 stone. Whatever, even if you're eating 1,000 calories a day, it still takes a good amount of time to lose 10 stone, right? What we need to do now is get Gemma to get that mentality in place, not for 6 months, 7 months. We need it in place for the rest of her life in a more healthy, sustainable fashion. That's going to take time. That's going to take time. A lot of people, when they know their journey is going to be a long period of time, they get very overwhelmed. Let me tell you this. I started my journey at 37 stone. Just 2 or 3 stone into my weight loss journey, my life changed massively. From February 2014 when I started to June 2014. So what? February, March, April, May, June, maybe into the beginning of July. 5 months. Right? In February 2014, I couldn't get out of bed, or was struggling a lot of days to get out of bed, the amount of pain I was in with my joints, my knees, my ankles, my back, my plantar fasciitis. I was just in a mess, right? And I used to wake up each day. Is today going to be a day where I'll be able to get out of bed all right? Or is today going to be a day where I'm just going to be in agony and I can't move that much? 5 months later, I flew out to France, to the Alps, to see my best friend, or one of my best friends that had moved out there 3 years previous. Not seen him for years. Invited me out there all the time, and I couldn't go because of my weight issue. In 5 months, I had the confidence to go to somewhere. They're flipping Alps. It's up hill and down. Don't wrong. We didn't go flipping hiking. I was still well over 30 stone, but I didn't have the fear in 5 months. I could get out of bed most days. I still had some issues with my joints. I still had it. Of course I did. My body was under a lot of pressure, but from eating healthier, moving more, inflammation had decreased massively in my body. I'd strengthened my body for moving more on a day-to-day basis. It flipping hurt. February, March, April, like it hurt to move. I still moved. Right? I grit my teeth and got on with it because I know it's not hurting, because I know the hurt isn't doing me damage. It's doing me good. Right? My body should be hurting. I've been a lazy twonk for years and years and years. You lose what you don't use. Right? So my body was just weak because I'd used the excuse of being morbidly obese not to move. and I didn't push through the pain. Oh, yes, I'm not going to move, right? And it does hurt, right? But the more consistent I was with pushing my body, the less it hurt because my body was strengthening. My mind was strengthening. It was getting better. 3 months into my weight loss journey, I joined a gym and I started lifting weights and I started going on an exercise bike a couple of times a week. That took all the pressure off my body, but strengthened my legs, strengthened my fitness. And 5 months, I would never, don't get me wrong, I'd not done a holiday. I'd done a couple of holidays at my biggest, but like holidays where I literally, the biggest issue I had was getting from the taxi to the plane and the plane to the hotel. Other than that, I didn't really need to move very much. I could get taxis around or just get on a sun lounger or sit in a chair. I struggled to get up and down a sun lounger, so I used to sit in chairs and stuff like that. But I didn't do many. I never would have gone on a holiday that would have been, there wasn't some lounges. It was going to a mate's house. It was like not a city break, but and I did it, right? And don't, like I say, we didn't go hiking, but I didn't have to wake up every day and go, oh, will I be able to get up? Phone my mate, I can't move today. Didn't happen. 6 months after that, right? I was training. 6 months after that, Boxing Day. It comes up every Boxing Day on my Facebook memories. I took a selfie of me in the gym, right? I was nearly 10 stone down. I was about 9.5 stone down. Boxing Day. So I've gone from being 37 stone to being 27.5 stone, right? And, Boxing Day, I was in a gym, training. Normally on a Boxing Day, I went on the smash all day, right? And literally all I need to do is transfer my carcass from my bed to a seat, to a bar stool in the pub. And I just perched myself on there for like 7 or 8 hours, get absolutely blottoed. A year later, I'm in a gym training on Boxing Day, didn't touch a drop of alcohol. So the changes, and I'm still nearly 30 stone, the changes are massive. 4 years after starting my weight loss journey, I quit my job as an accountant and became a personal trainer in a gym. 4 years ago, I couldn't get out of bed, and now I'm teaching other people how to live a fitter and healthier life and how to exercise. So it can, and I was, it can see, the journey can seem overwhelming, but it doesn't need to be. I'm now committed to however long it takes, though my goal is to go into my 40s healthier and weighing similar to my early 20s. Gemma, you put your 36, 37 in March. So you have got 3.5 years until your 40th. In 3.5 years, I've started my weight loss journey. I lost half my body weight. I was 250 pounds down, right? You can do the same thing. And your life, you'll be fitter, you'll be healthier. And don't get me wrong, the changes will happen way before then, right? You can feel totally different, Gemma, by Christmas. This time next year, totally different again, So I think sometimes we think the success of a weight loss journey only happens when we get to the end of it. It really doesn't. It happens continuously throughout it, How does it take for DOMs to go, should you exercise while you still have them? Oh, personal training question. DOMs is the delayed onset of muscle soreness. How do we get them? We get them from ripping our muscles by putting them under resistance. So this here is a bicep, right? When I contract my bicep on a, let's do a bicep curl with a 0.5 kilo weight, right? So when I do a bicep curl, my bicep is now contracted. It has got shorter. Yes, it's got quite a lot of loose skin covering it, but it has got shorter. When I extend my bicep, it gets longer. So contraction, long, short, long, short, long. Basically, we only have, there we go, that bit of rubber band. This is what we do with our muscles. Yeah? Stretch. There you go. Classic example. But stretch. Yeah, we stretch, contract, stretch, contract, stretch, contract. We do this with our muscles. And when we do that enough, our muscles rip, right? And that creates DOMs, right? So it's little tears in the muscle. The muscle basically is attached like this, a bit like Velcro. We do this, stretch, contract, stretch, stretch, and eventually and you get a little rip. And that creates DOMs. That creates the soreness. That's kind of what we want. Because every time we rip our muscles, our brain goes, ooh, muscles are weaker. Red blood cells, right? Send that to that area, fix that area, eat lots of protein, drink lots of protein, whatever. Red blood cells will deposit all that protein in those rips and it'll knit it all together, right? And then you go back to the gym and it rips. And over time, the body goes, this muscle needs to be bigger and stronger. And that's how muscles grow, right? It's an adaptive method. It's stimulus. It's not, it's teaching the body that your muscles need to be bigger. That's how they grow bigger and stronger. How long does this pain last? How does it take to heal this ripped muscle from stretch, contract, stretch, contract, stretch, contract? All depends. When you first go to a gym, your DOMs can kick your bum for a good few days. When you've been you've been going to a gym for a few weeks, DOMs should hit you 24 to 48 hours after your training session, and they should be gone 24 to 48 hours after that. So I'm going to train my back today. So tomorrow, my back might be a little bit tender, right? It certainly will be Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, be right as rain. It'll be right as rain. Yeah? I'm quite experienced in training though. Any longer than that, you might have overtrained or you might have injured yourself. Right? So it should be, the whole process should be 72 to 96 hours turnaround. And this is why we do splits. So Rusty76 has said that should you exercise while you have them? Not that area really. Like when you're coming out of DOM. So I'm going to train my back today, Monday, and I'm also going to train it Thursday. So 72 hours from now, really, I'm going to train it. So, but I'll get DOMs probably tomorrow, and they will be easing off Thursday when I retrain my back, right? But this is why we do splits. Because while one area is healing, you work another area. So I do push-pull. Right? I don't train legs. I train legs when I do spin. So I did a push session yesterday. I'm going to do a pull session today. So a push session is chest, shoulders. I do basically chest and shoulders in one session. I do back in a session. And then I'll do arms tomorrow. Right, so I'll just do, I call it a limb day because I do arms for 30 minutes, which knackers my arms. And then I'll do spin for 40 minutes, which knackers my legs. So I'll call it a limbs day. It's Tuesday. Then I'll do push again. So while I'm working my shoulders and chest, my back's resting. While I'm working my back today, my chest and my shoulders are resting. Because have I got DOMs today? Yeah, a little bit in my chest because I did some chest yesterday. So when I stretch out the muscle, I feel tightness and a bit of soreness here in my pectoral. Did I get DOMs? I don't really get DOMs in my shoulders, to be honest with you. A little bit. My shoulders are always tight anyway. Right? So there you go. I like a PT question every now and then. Good, it mixes it up. So it should be 72 to 96 hours turnaround. So if you train legs today, you should be able to train legs Thursday, Friday. If you can't, right, you've probably overtrained them a little bit. Right? Does DOMs automatically indicate a great training session? No. It is a good sign, but just because you don't get severe DOMs does not mean you've not had a good training session. Likewise, getting severe DOMs doesn't mean you have had a good training session, but it's a bit of a thing, you know? I love them. I love getting them. Absolutely love it. Yeah. DOMs in my legs last way longer, but I've only properly started doing legs. Could that be it? Yeah, absolutely. If you've just started. Why do DOMs in legs last longer? Because although your quads and hamstrings are big muscle groups, they're tiny muscles in a way, right? So your quad has 4 muscles. So your quadricep on your thigh is 4 strands. And that's why it's not the biggest muscle in your body. What's your biggest muscle in your body? Right? Your biggest muscle in your body is your latissimus dorsi here, your lats. They're the biggest muscle in your body. Second biggest is your arse, your glutes, right? Because it's one muscle, right? Your legs, like if your thigh, your quads were one muscle, they'd be the biggest, but they're not the 4 muscles. So you're hitting 4 different muscles, right? And they're quite thin. Yeah. Same with your hamstrings. Your hamstrings are 3 different muscles. Those are your hamstrings running down the back of your legs, right? So they're quite small muscles. But because they're a big muscle group, you've got a lot of small muscles. You can tend to lift a lot of weight and you can put a lot of force through them. So yeah, leg DOMs are always the worst out of everything. Right? Leg DOMs are always the worst out of everything. Thanks, Neil. Just signed up. Oh, Rusty's just signed up to Plan. Guys, you want to take advantage of my summer deal. Thank you, Rusty. Let's see what Rusty's real name is. Chris, thank you for signing up. Now, my plan isn't necessarily a personal training plan because I'm a weight loss coach and I work on calories and everyday movement. But I am a personal trainer. So if anyone that is on plan with me, if you want advice for training, advice down the gym, I am more than happy to give it to you. I love talking about stuff like that because it breaks it up for me, just constantly weight loss. So yes, Chris, thanks for signing up. Chris has took advantage of my summer deal, half price sign up. Chris has just paid 15 quid to get on plan with me. I'm going to get Chris started a week today. His subscription will start a week today. So 15 quid covers your plan and you sign up and everything like that. And then it's a monthly subscription of $29.99 for a minimum of 3 months. So Chris will pay $29.99 1st September, $29.99 the 1st of October, $29.99 the 1st of November. So Chris is pretty much covered now, running all the way up to Christmas. With support from me on his weight loss journey. That deal ends on Wednesday night. You've got to Wednesday night to start on Monday, right? That's it, right? Once after Wednesday, I am not writing up any plans Thursday, Friday, or all next week. Now you can sign up whenever you want to, but my next start date after Monday the 1st will be September the 15th, Monday, September the 15th. Right, so I'm having a week off from starting people, and from Thursday, if you want to sign up, it goes back to full price. Because next week, when people are back in their regular routine, kids have gone back to school, people are finally like, "What do I do now? Suppose I better get back to weight loss." I go pretty busy. When I go pretty busy, I'm afraid there's no deals on. So you've got 72 hours really. I might run it a little bit longer, but I doubt it. I'm going to finish it. I'm not writing plans up after Wednesday. Done. Right? Because I'm off. I'm taking some time off. So 15 quid to sign up. Come join Chris. TikTok profile, Facebook page, YouTube page, Instagram. Just get to my link tree. There's a little shop in my link tree. Click on monthly plan. Use code SUMMER50 at checkout. 15 quid sign up. Bang. That gets you on board. And then you're all good. If you do not want to pay a monthly direct debit, if you want to commit to this for at least 12 months, you can also normally for a year up front. So if you commit to this 12 months full price, even with the £15 sign up, let's say you do 12, it'll cost you 375 quid. So it's 360 quid for 12 months monthly subscription, £15 for your sign up, 375 quid. I normally do that for £325. So I do a little bit of discount for bulk buying, for signing up in one hit, 325 quid. All right. At the moment, you get 20% off that. Summer 20. So you can sign up 12 months, one-off payment, £260. 260 quid. One-off payment done. No direct debits, no nothing. 12 months with me. You cover till next September. So the kids go back next September, 2026. And we'll absolutely smash your weight loss journey. Don't get me started on trying to go up and down stairs with DOMs. Oh my God, it's so painful. Well, leg DOMs, the biggest one is getting up and down off the toilet, isn't it? You know when you've got severe leg DOMs when you can't go up and down off the toilet, right? You literally got the sink on one side, the towel rail on the other, and you're lowering yourself like, do you know what I mean? Like, and then you go, and then you sit there until pins and needles kick in your legs, and so it takes away some of the pain, and then you can stand up again, you know? Yeah, absolutely. If I join the challenge, do I still have monthly payment as well as cost of challenge? Yes, absolutely. So nothing changed. The challenge is a one-off fee of 50 quid to enter, and that's just your contribution to the pot. I guarantee a prize pot of the challenge is 750 quid. The challenge costs me a lot of work. So anything that's over 750 quid that goes in the pot goes to me, right? And I can't work for nothing. At the moment, we've got 20 people in the challenge. So the first 15 that sign up covers the pot, and the 250 quid extra is my little bonus on top for putting in the extra effort for doing the challenge. So yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, I can't take out a 30 quid month payment for a one-off 50 quid fee. No, so nothing changes. If you join the challenge, you're on the one-to-one plan, which is $29.99 a month. And then you basically, and you pay 50 quid to join the challenge, and that kind of covers the extra work that I put in for you on the challenge, because there is extra work. The check-ins are a bit more complex. Setting up the challenge for you, looking at your results for the challenge, and adjusting and adapting. But it'll be the best 50 quid you've spent, because people that nail the challenge, especially running up to Christmas, the results are fantastic. The results are absolutely fantastic. It really does focus. Your focus should be like that 365 days a year. But I fully understand it can't be. But twice a year, September, October, November when we do the challenge, March, April, May when we do the challenge, you can definitely nail in that focus. Is a really good way of progressing. So the challenge is a one-off thing. So if anyone there's like, oh right, what? So there's I do a challenge, and at the end of the day, right, you win the challenge, you win £500, right? The challenge is worth 50 quid, whether you place or not. Right? You get to the end of the challenge, it'll be one of the best £50 you've ever spent, right? But win it, 500 quid, tax-free, and this time we get it on the 12th of December, so literally a week and a half before Christmas, right? Those last-minute presents, right? Or, we're going out for Christmas dinner, it's going to cost us 500 quid. You can win it, right? You can win it. It's there for you, right? Second place gets 150, third place gets 100 quid, fourth and fifth place get free weight loss coaching January, Feb, right? So there's 5 places get paid out. If anyone wants details of the challenge, I know I emailed them out a bit ago. You can sign up to the challenge all the way up to the 12th of September. There's no real cut-off. But next week, when I'm back from holiday, next Thursday, I'll be doing admin. And I might try and do a little bit this week, but my motivation is going to disappear this week because I'm going on holiday, and it always is holiday mode kicking in. So don't get me wrong, I'm working, I'm here. Right, but I am aiming actually. So this week, anyone that's signed up to the challenge, I'm going to create a broadcast group, challenge group. I'll probably ask you if you've got any commitments, and we'll get set. And I'll probably start setting up the folder. I think that's going to be my Wednesday job. So if you join the challenge, I'll set up your September 2025 challenge folder. Put your challenge sheet in there. So I'm going to start doing it. So if you're going to do the challenge, guys, even if if you want to do the challenge, you can still split payments up. It's 25 quid to sign up, 25 quid a couple of weeks into the challenge whenever end of September. There's no issues whatsoever. If you want to just pay for it up front, you can just pay for it up front. If you're on the one-to-one plan and you're thinking of joining the challenge and you've lost the details, just drop me a WhatsApp. I can re-email them over to you. Or I can just WhatsApp you directly. Someone messaged me on Saturday. Oh, I want to do. They've done every challenge so far. I want to do the challenge. Can you just send me the link to pay for it? And I said to them, just pay for it because they know what the deal is. They didn't need the details. Right, leg DOMs at the devil. Bulgarian split squats hates me for this. Yeah, to be fair, it's one advantage of having really bad arthritis, knees, hips, and ankles is we don't do leg day with really bad arthritis. Every now and then I'll jump onto and do some very light leg extensions, leg curls, but I do more for mobility. But I only train my legs doing spin, which is never going to build muscle. In fact, I've done a video, like a little training thing using my Meta glasses, and I was looking at my legs. My legs are, don't get me wrong, they're not skinny. Thick thighs save lives, but I do not have, like when I was PTing, and I used to actually train my legs quite a bit. But my joints my knees have deteriorated since then, so I can't really now. Because every time I get in, I'm like, when my knees are behaving, I'm like, oh right, let's get back into training legs, and then I just regret it. So I kind of need to learn. But I used to have some really good muscle and definition in my legs, and they're not bad. They're not bad, but they're not compared to anything they were a few years ago. Do I sign up on my monthly one-to-one? Do I sign up on my monthly one? Just get yeah. So guys, if you are currently on the one-to-one plan monthly, and you're like, do you know what? I fancy just committing to a year and not having a direct debit. You can use the sign up, and if you sign up, if you sign up for 12 months, it will start when your current monthly direct debit ends. So let's say you've just paid one at the first. Let's say you paid one on the 1st of August, right, or the 7th of August, say, right. if you signed up to the 12-month one-off payment, 260 quid, that'll start on the 8th of September, right? So you'll be covered until the 8th of September 2026. If you've just paid one now, like, oh yeah, I paid one last week, Neil, right? It'll start on whatever, the 19th of September. It'll just start when your current monthly cuts off. So yeah, absolutely. Liam keeps injuring himself, overdoing it. It's so hard to get the balance right for him. 100%. And it is about, like with exercise, it is. We can be very much, not just very much all or nothing. We can be very much all or nothing. And if you push yourself too far, you can get your little injuries, your little niggles. Also with form, I exercise 6-7 days a week. I did 7 days last week. You can exercise every day. This thing about having rest days, as it were, like Chris asked there about DOMs and this, that, and the other. Yes, you can have a rest day from training your back, and then you might train your legs. You can have a rest day from training weights, and you might just go and do a little bit of cardio. So you don't need actually any rest days from exercise. You can exercise 7 days a week. If you're physically tired, take a rest day. That's important, But like Tuesday, Saturdays, for instance, I go to the gym. I do spin. Right? I don't train any weights. Yesterday I did a push session. Today I'm doing a pull session. So my chest and my shoulders get a rest today. They'll move a little bit, obviously, with doing pull. But a pull is all this. It's all back. It's all a little bit of rear delt, I suppose. Bicep and back, I said I was doing 45 minutes. I'm doing an hour. Rachel's still in bed, so she's not bothered. It's bank holiday Monday. We're not rushing today. So it is hard. It is about finding the balance. Right, I'm going. It's been a pleasure as always. Guys, if you want to get on plan, like I say, you've got 72 hours. You've got till midnight Wednesday. Then those deals are going to end. And we'll get you going Monday. All right. So I'm gonna have a bit of a plan writing day this week. Guys, I am going away Friday. I've had a couple of people over the weekend message me about, oh, you're away on Friday. Are we still checking in? Yes, you are. I'm going to send my general message out. I'm away Friday. I'm going to cut off Friday at probably 12. Right. I am taking my laptop with me, so I might do a little bit in the airport, but we're sort of leaving the house at dinner time-ish. So my plan Friday is I want to do a live. I want to go to the gym. I'm also going to get my head stuck into check-ins. If you definitely want your feedback for your check-in back before, you can check in Thursday this week if you want to, right? Anyone that checks in Friday before 10 a.m., I'll get your feedback back Friday. I'll get it done. Anyone that checks in after 10 a.m. Friday, I will try and get your feedback back Friday, maybe Saturday morning. Anyone that checks in after 12, I have my Saturday cut off 12 p.m. Saturday. I'll do your check-in Monday. I'm going to have a 12 p.m. cut off Friday this week. Any check-ins that come in after 12 p.m. Friday might actually be done when I get back, because I'm going away for my birthday. We're only going for 3 or 4 days, and I do want to take 3 or 4 days off work if I can. Like I say, I'm actually kind of like Saturday morning, I'm quite happy getting up and doing a bit of work, because we fly at 7 o'clock at night time. We're not going to get into bed until midnight. We'll just go for a bit of a walk. We might have a beer somewhere, and then we're going to go to bed. So Friday's not, I'll be up Saturday morning anyway. So I don't mind doing an hour Saturday morning. But if you check in Thursday, I'll get your check-in done. So you'll be first on the list, and we'll get you sorted out. But I'm going to send that out Wednesday. My general, when I'm going away, Wednesday. And as always, I appreciate when I'm going away, changing your routine a little bit. As always, if you're like, I'm happy to wait till next Wednesday, Thursday, Neil, when you're gonna. It's one of them with me. I'm always like, I'll have a few days off. I'll have a few days. To be honest with you, I'm always quite happy on holiday just to whip my laptop up and do half an hour. At night, Rachel's getting ready. She takes an hour or so to get ready before we go out at night time. I'm quite happy sat on the balcony doing a little bit of work. It doesn't bother me at all, because I would not be sat on that balcony if you guys didn't put your trust in me to be your weight loss coach. But you know what I mean. I'll send that out on Wednesday anyway. Right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a great bank holiday Monday. Enjoy it. I'm not back today. I know normally doing Monday night live, but I'm not doing today. I'm going to take the rest of the day off packing. We're packing today. I'll have a weekly weight loss vlog out later on for you. And then I'll be back as normal tomorrow. There's no evening lives this week, actually. So tomorrow, Facebook Live, and then we're doing a weight loss coaching live at like 11-ish, maybe 10-ish, I think I might have put it in. Everything weight loss session is Wednesday morning this week, so I've got my mum coming for tea on Wednesday night. And then Thursday, I'm actually going to try and do Thursday a morning live and an evening live, like a 5 p.m. And then Friday is going to be an 8:30 a.m. live. And then that's it. That's it for lives until the following Thursday. All right. So you're not going to have 5 days away from me. 5 days. Oh, let me stretch. Right. I'm off to the gym. Enjoy the rest of Bank Holiday Monday. And I will see you tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. If you want to sign up, TikTok profile, Facebook page, YouTube page, Instagram, get to my link tree, little shop in my link tree, and there's all my plans. And if you click on each plan, monthly or yearly, all the details are in there with the discount codes. Guys, have a great Monday. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. TikTok, sign off to you first. And then Facebook, YouTube.